Hi guys, this is Marcoantonio, and you're watching Are You Fired TV. On average, 24 people per minute are victims of rape, physical violence, or stalking by an intimate partner in the United States. More than 12 million women and men over the course of a year. As a sensitive topic it may be, today we're going to talk about domestic abuse. I was grateful enough to have spoken to a few domestic abuse survivors and learn more of how they turn their pain into power. I was able to speak to Lisa Adams, Renette Upson, and Tiffany Ray. They each have their own unique perspective that I'd love to share with you all today. First, I would like to introduce Lisa Adams as she teaches young people how to cope with unhealthy relationships before they reach adulthood.
Where I stand with it is, from my experiences, I teach our young people how to cope with this stuff before you get to adulthood, how to recognize signs of unhealthy relationships before you go over into adulthood, because a lot of times what we do in our teen lives, if we're growing up, we feeling unworthy, and so then we accept any and everything, and we ultimately teach people how to treat us if we don't stand up and respect ourselves. And so with that, I wrote a book, The Pitbull of Puppy Love. It's one of my books, and it breaks down for our young people relationships on all facets, from that with the parent through the mate, domestic violence, sexual violence, and thereon.
Next, I would like to bring Renette Upson, who gives a recap of her story and how she is advocating for women.
My story is basically, as a young girl, I didn't grow up poor or anything like that. Came from a good, strong, middle-class family. My parents were educators, but I was very sheltered, to really tell the truth. So when I did go off to college, it's not like I had been out and really knew how to, I didn't really know how to, I guess, deal with the world. So my my junior year in college, I met this young man on campus who said he was a college student. He portrayed himself to be such. After we started a relationship or whatever, I kind of found out that he was not really a college student. He was more of a drug dealer. And so being that I was in a relationship with him, it started to become abusive, not physically, but verbally. And once you start accepting stuff like that, it goes further. I really have become an advocate of pushing women to move past that situation. You are not your situation, and you don't have to stay stuck in it. So I am also an author, and my latest book is called Put Your Mouth on It. And it talks about, where my life was and how negative I was. And a lot of that situation just added to the negativity that I was living in. But I have changed my whole life.
Lastly, I would like to introduce Lisa Adams, who gives us a recap of what she's been up to today and how she's handled her abuse in the past.
This year, 2020, is really the first year that I've been very open, extremely transparent. I wrote my book 6 years ago and released it in January. So from the time that I wrote this book, and this book was written in when I was homeless, a friend let me stay with her, in one of her guest bedrooms. It was just myself, one mattress, candles lit everywhere. And I purged. I fasted and I purged and I wrote and I journaled and I got everything out. I screamed, I hollered, I cried, I did everything. And so it's been a struggle. Well, it was a struggle for me from 6 years ago, from writing that until, this year in January. And I said, I've been through so much. I've been through so many traumatic situations. And like you just said, we've gone through so much. It's like, well, let me start speaking on it. As long as my experience can help one person, I'm good with that. So it's taken me about 6 years to get to this point where it's kind of like, just speak your mind, Tiffany.
Again, I want to thank Lisa Adams, Renette Upson, and Tiffany Ray for telling us their stories and giving us a quick update of their life today. This is Marcoantonio, and you're watching Are You Fired TV. See you next week.